We have 2 minutes. We have 1 minute. I have 9:30.
Okay, good morning. Let's call the meeting of the Western Municipal Water District Board to order, please. Candace, could we have a roll call?
Yes, thank you. Good morning. President Gardner,
I
you do
am
have a
here.
quorum.
Okay. We're supposed to actually call them?
Director Torres?
Here.
Director Dinstedt?
Present, good morning.
Director Roten?
Here.
Director Risby?
Good morning, I'm here.
President Gardner?
I am here.
You
Great.
do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the Pledge of Allegiance, and this morning we will be led by Mr. Mascaro.
Well, good morning, everyone. So I'm supposed to introduce myself, is that right?
Yeah, nobody knows who you are.
Very well. I'm Kevin Mascaro, the Assistant General Manager and Chief Financial Officer for Western Water. This March, I will have been here for 20 years, and the reason why so long is because I love the purpose and I love the people. It's a great day at Western, I'll tell you that, every day. So please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, let's do public comments quickly. I know we have a person in the room, and then we'll move to closed session.
We only, just only.
There's just one.
Just the person in the room. Good.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Come on up, sir.
You want to introduce him?
My name is John Farnsworth. I was at this meeting 2 weeks ago, made some comments and requested information. What I'd like to read is there's no evidence that found WMD is deliberately hiding information from the residential customer. Western agrees with this finding. They do not hide information from the public, and furthermore, they make all public records available to anyone who requested them. I requested information from Ms. Torres, from this board in this last meeting. That email was acknowledged and intercepted by the general manager. I sent that email to Ms. Torres, not to you, Mr. Miller. You intercepted it, and I have not heard any answer back whatsoever. I want to know how hookups for the project over on Alessandro and Mission Grove got approved with a will serve letter. That's what I requested. So I would like to point out that I did not receive that. Furthermore, Ms. Torres made a request to have an agenda item added to address how does that process work, how does it get answered. There is nothing on this agenda to show that that item was added to the agenda this week. My comments from last week were not shown in the public record. so I don't know why that is not the case. I'd like to point out to you all that your portal, where people are supposed to input requests to have meeting minutes added to the agenda every day, does not work. I tried last week. I tried this week. The portal does not work. It does not have a current date that is needed to fill out the form correctly. I'll leave this for you. You can look at it yourself, showing that I tried to log on. The right to timely and responsive customer service. This is one of your bills and rights. Committed to answering your questions, concerns, and provide you with the support you need. The right to complaint resolution has established procedures. This procedure includes but is not limited to formal appeals process. The customer bill of rights does not say such questions addressing concerns need to be submitted through the portal. So as far as I can understand, I've done what needed to be done to get information from this board and from this committee. I just don't know why you guys aren't answering the mail that has been requested of you. So I would like to make this a formal complaint, and since I cannot enter into the record based on your portal, I think that my comments today should be part of the official agenda minutes and shown forth, and Ms. Torrey's comments and requests for information be added to the meeting minutes as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, Mr. Miller, are we
Yeah, I
headed
would,
for?
I would request a change in the agenda.
Okay.
Today, we need to take closed session first, take that out of order because of time constraints.
Okay, we will do that then. We will adjourn to closed session and return as quickly as we can. I don't anticipate it will be a long time, but you never know.
That's correct. We'll be going into closed session to discuss the one item of potential litigation that is listed on the agenda.
So, thank you. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we are back from closed session, but we are going to wait for a moment for Director Torres to rejoin us on the dais before we go back to the agenda. But Mr. Ballinger, would you like to do the closed session report out?
Yes, I can report out briefly. The board met in closed session to discuss the one item that is listed on the agenda, and there was no reportable action.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, Director Torres is back in the room, so we will go ahead and reconvene our meeting. Tammy, did we have any additional public comments
Yes, we have one.
For the consent calendar.
for the consent calendar? Okay. So we'll close public comment in general then, and we will move on to the consent calendar. I understand that we have someone, I believe, in the room who wishes to comment?
Yes, we'll call.
Okay, and which item is that one?
We're going to let him make that comment.
Okay,
We'll call up the a member of the public, and they will make a comment, and then we will go to the consent calendar vote.
okay, that sounds good.
Okay, at this time, we'll call John Farnsworth for public comment.
Mr. Farnsworth. Yes, I understand. It is a public comment on item 5C. Yes.
I'd like to read something. Concerns and provide you with the support you need. I would like to have a copy of item 5C, the operating budget to actual report for fiscal year 2023, highlighting any and all budget underruns and how said underruns, if applicable, were reapplied to other parts of the budget. How does this comply with why WMDs cannot and will not charge you more than what is necessary to provide service? If there's an underrun, I question why that underrun should be reapplied elsewhere, if it's only needed to provide service. Regarding budget underruns, if there are any such underruns not projected and accumulated to offset colored billing rates, they could have been applied rather than increasing other budgets not originally planned for. It also appears that the Board of Directors have agreed to put reports on their web portal. This type of information, I agree, should be part of that report. I could not find it. I went to the web portal yesterday. I could not find any operating budgets on it. Specifically, I could not find the one that was referenced here. So it appears to me that you're not complying with your own rules. You're not complying with the fact that I have made a request for it, and this is my second time on the first issue that I talked about earlier, and that you are required to submit printed copies upon my request. So I am so requesting a copy of the budget, the revised 5C item here as well. I requested these items I addressed earlier and today as a formal complaint without having to go through the online board comment that is not available, which I left up here. Again, no one picked it up, but you should look at it. It's your own portal. And this is not available as required by the agreement WMD had with the Superior Court of California. That's a pretty big deal. Superior Court of California. You're not complying with what I believe you're not complying with what you agreed to do, what you forecast to do, what you stated you would do. I have not gotten any communication since I raised these issues 2 weeks ago. Not one data byte for people who are technically authorized. So I think that you need to start looking at your own rules, your own requirements, and what you told the Superior Court of California you were going to accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farnsworth. Okay, with that, we'll come back to the board, and does anyone wish to pull a consent calendar item? And if not, is there a motion for approval?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the full consent calendar with item C being, or at least directing Mr. Farnsworth to where he could find it in our agenda portal online, or
Yeah.
giving it to him, or a printed copy.
Yeah.
That's my motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion? All right. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Director Torres,
Yes.
Director Dinstedt,
Aye.
Director Roten,
Yes.
Director Rizvi,
Yes.
President Gardner.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, thank you. And if staff can help Mr. Farnsworth locate that report,
I
that would be
can
helpful.
go for it right now because I just pulled it up on my iPad. It's on our website. It's under About Us. It's under the Finance Department, and it's posted under Western Budget. It gives fiscal year 22-23, 23-24, and it gives it in the brief, and it gives the full biannual budget in a PDF. So you can pull up all of those links on there, including all of the presentations on the budget workshops and all of the summaries that we have posted. So it is on the page, and you just have to navigate through 2 pages to get it.
I figured it was, but
And the budget to actual 5C report is also included in the
It
board
is.
packet.
yes.
Yeah, my motion was a printed copy, though.
The board secretary will provide a printed copy of item 5C to the member of the public.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, moving on then, do we have anything to add to the agenda?
Oh, nothing to add today?
Okay, our action item is to consider awarding contract for Northwell 2 treatment concrete construction. Mr. Miller.
All right, thank you very much. We did present this to the engineering committee, or discussed it yesterday at the engineering committee, informing them that this is coming directly to the board because of the time urgency. So with that, Derek is going to provide you with the background.
Great. Good morning, directors. I'm presenting for your consideration an actionable item for the Northwell 2 manganese treatment project. This was an initiative that the board approved earlier this year, which about a budget of around $2.4 million. The project is to install treatment at Northwell to remove manganese. We've made solid progress on the project. We have completed the design and ordered the necessary equipment and materials. They're all being fabricated, and we're actually scheduling delivery for the main piece of equipment in December. We had planned to complete this work with our in-house team. However, there are specialized tasks that we need to have hire some experienced contractors. Today, I'm seeking approval for 2 specific elements in order to expedite completion. First, we're recommending awarding a construction contract to Williamson Development Group Incorporated for concrete construction work. They submitted the lowest responsive bid at a cost of $157,910, which falls in line with our engineer's estimate and is well within our existing project budget. Secondly, we have identified the need for a sodium hypochlorite storage tank, additional capacity for the sodium hypochlorite capacity. Tetra Tech, our engineering consultant, has proposed to provide a new tank in a new separate shed. We need an amendment to their contract because this design wasn't originally in the contract, in their contract with them. And it's in an amount of $39,820. And these costs are all covered by the existing budget. We have enough contingency, we can absorb these costs. So in summary, I'm requesting you to approve the construction contract with Williamson Development Group in the amount of $157,910 and to approve an amendment to the agreement with Tetra Tech for an additional $39,820. There are no new funds requested, no budget amendment, and all expenditures will be within our approved budget. We have here from Williamson Development, Mike Abdullah, and he's actually online, called in on Zoom, and we request your approval for these requests, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
Okay, are there questions from the board? Candace, did we have any public comment on this item?
No public comment.
Okay, thank you.
Did the awardee potentially want to make a comment?
I was about to ask that. Mr. Abdullah, would you like to make a comment? Nope.
Mike, you're muted.
Yeah, can you guys hear me? I'm sorry.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, actually, we're excited to work with the district on the line item project for that well.
Okay, great. Well,
Great,
thank you so
thank
much
you.
for being here today. We really appreciate you taking the time to call in for our board meeting. And I just wanted to ask a question for you. Is there any anticipated problems? Did you have any problems with the bid documents and you think you can complete this on time and on budget? Because I'm your no change order girl.
No, yeah, I heard that. So no, actually, everything should be like a lump sum, and we're not anticipating any change orders.
Fantastic. Okay, it is my pleasure to make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. When technology is ready, would you please do a roll call vote?
Director Torres,
Yes.
Director Dinstead,
Aye.
Director Roten,
Yes.
Director Rizvi,
Yes.
President Gardner.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Directors.
Much. Brings us to reports. Mr. General Counsel.
I have no report, thank you.
Okay, Mr. General Manager.
I've got a few things. First of all, I want to just give the board just a quick highlight of our top workplace survey that we took. This is a anonymous employee satisfaction survey that we've done, I don't know, maybe 4 times now in the past. And so we just did this again in-house and got the results. I made a presentation to the Meridian staff yesterday on the results. I'll be doing a presentation out at El Sobrante tomorrow morning. The results are really good. It's very encouraging to hear nice things from the staff about how much they appreciate working at Western. And our scores, we're compared against a governmental benchmark, and our scores exceeded the benchmark in every single category by substantial amount, and predominantly in the, 70 to 90% approval rating on all elements that we asked the employees about. So really encouraging. We also encourage them to, you can make written comments in there. So I said, hey, please make written comments and not, make them constructive so we can try and keep improving things at Western. And if there's things that you really like at Western, please comment. We don't want to, stop doing things that the employees really like. We got 400 comments. So it was really, really interesting and predominantly positive comments. But there are comments that were constructive and give us, and that's what we want. We want to be able to continuously improve. So there were some good comments about various things that we'll be looking at as a management team. So really, really excited about that and really proud of our employees and how much they value Western. And what I heard time and time again is the people at Western bring me back and we love service. We like working at Western because of the service we provide to the community. So really, really encouraging and engaging to read all that.
Question. Are you going to at some point share any changes that were made because of comments?
No. Well, we're, the comments that, the constructive comments are things like, an example, I think we can make internal meetings more productive.
Okay.
Or, we're really busy. We take on a lot of stuff. And so we'll work on that. But we take on a lot of stuff because we have an extremely bright, engaged staff. And they naturally want to do a lot of things. And so, yeah, we're constantly working hard, and some people are like, too much. But, those are the written comments. But when you look at the survey results, it is like, 82% of the employee population feels like we're heading in the right direction, we have the appropriate workload, and we're appropriately compensated for what we do. So, yeah, there's people that feel overworked, and there's people that think, hey, this is perfect, that's why I work here. So it's really hard to work through that. So, yeah, to come back with like organizational changes, no, I don't see anything like that. There'll be little tweaks.
And the reason that I asked that was if you got something like that, like, I think we should be doing this instead, type of thing. So,
Yeah.
but to make those kind of comments that, we think they should be, internal meetings should work
Yeah.
better like this.
And
that's-
there's time and time again about the staff's appreciation of where Western is on leadership issues, on water issues. So there's no strategic things, I think is more maybe what you're asking about is will we change direction? Yeah. No, nothing that we see from that. So really good news. More to come on that. Yesterday I participated up at Metropolitan in a new meeting that the general manager, Adele Hajj-Khalil, set up, which is a general manager roundtable. And he set this up because, as he said, he wants to have a closer relationship with the general managers of the MET member agencies because MET is the member agencies, and he feels like he's not hearing enough from the general managers or having an opportunity to interact on policy and strategic issues with the general managers. And this Friday, we have the monthly MET member agency managers meeting, which you might listen to that and say, well, isn't that the meeting? But that meeting actually has over 100 participants in it. And so it's not a format of a meeting where he really gets to hear from the general managers. He hears from staff and MET internal staff doing presentations, and then he hears from a whole lot of other people that aren't the general managers. So he's trying to set up a framework for all these really difficult decisions that are coming to MET between finances and statewide water supply and sites reservoir and recycled water projects and, building infrastructure to get water across the MET service area. They're literally evaluating $40 billion worth of infrastructure investments, and how do we afford that? How do we not price water through the roof? So it's really an important time at Metropolitan, and it's going to be a huge time for Western because we have to keep water affordable for all of our customers. And we have to figure out how to do this and still build the infrastructure that we need to have water supply reliability. So really, really positive meeting. Great input from the general managers and appreciation for Adele taking this step to say, we've got big challenges and we have to work harder as a group. So it was great. The Water Solutions Summit Group. So last Thursday, we met with this kind of think tank group that we set up to support SB 366. The meeting was great. We did it down in Irvine. We have people coming from all over the state to meet. The purpose of the meeting was to kind of give an update on where SB 366 is. You remember it's turned into a 2-year bill, so it's sitting at Assembly Parks and Wildlife. The purpose of the meeting was to continue to develop the strategy to get that over the goal line this year. You know, what are we going to do to make sure that that gets out of committee, gets onto the assembly floor, and gets approved? Half of the meeting was spent on, all right, let's assume it's going to happen, now what? Because, you know, we're going to hopefully we set this target of 10 million acre feet of new water supply developed statewide. How do we do that? What's the framework that projects and programs are going to be approved and selected to build that 10 million acre feet of new water supply? We want to be at the table as general managers with the state. We don't want this to just be allocated to the administration and to DWR. We want general managers who are actually going to be building these projects and financing these projects to be part of the decision process. So a lot of discussion about, you know, how will we move forward assuming that SB 366 passes. So really engaging conversation there. Then a couple of key meetings. 3 of the board members were at the Community Leaders Water Briefing. Was that just last Friday? Mm-hmm. Wow, time flies. Yes. Seems like that was a really nice meeting. Senator Roth and Assembly Member Cervantes did a great job. Don Ortega did the opening remarks for Metropolitan, and we had a good audience, and I think it went really well. Prior to that meeting, and they were actually participants, but we had our Western Water Leaders Tour. So this is, remember that subgroup of the business community that we're reaching out to and in small subsets trying to get our more water leaders that can support water in Riverside County. So they had a tour of the Arlington Desalter and the Sterling Pump Station, the Victoria Recharge Basin. I joined them for the Sterling Pump Station part of the tour before I went to the Community Water Leaders Briefing. They all then ended their tour at that event, so they heard that whole event too. So they got a little bit of a taste of big picture water. So it's good. And then I attended the AMWA conference, which is the Association of Metropolitan Water Agencies. I attended that last Monday and Tuesday. So that is a nationwide organization of predominantly general managers. It's not, there aren't really electeds there. And this is all about, you know, agency issues. And the big part of the topic was recruiting workforce and developing workforce and motivating workforce internally. So it's more of a strategy session for GMs and how they can be more productive internally in their own organizations to really motivate their staffs.
And that was in San Diego.
That was in San Diego. Yeah. So with that, those are my reports. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Are there questions for Mr. Miller? If not, we'll move on to directors' reports and requests, starting with SAPA. SAPA, I reported on their last meeting. They canceled the meeting for Tuesday next week. They anticipate having meetings on November the 21st. And that's it for SAPA MWD.
Next meeting, I'll report.
Okay.
We meet in 2 weeks.
Chino Basin Watermaster, Watermaster met Thursday last week. The one business item was to receive their annual financial report and audit. It was an unqualified audit, which is what everybody likes to see. There was a very lengthy closed session with no reportable action. They have called a special closed session meeting for tomorrow morning. And I think there may be a reportable action coming from that. It's listed as personnel matters. And that's it for Chino Basin Watermaster. CDA.
Tomorrow.
Thursday. No, tomorrow. It is tomorrow afternoon. Yes, sorry.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I haven't hard enough time keeping track of the days.
Clearly I do too. RCRA.
We will meet December 11th.
Okay. WRCOG.
Next week.
Sarah.
Next week.
Aqua Region 9.
Aqua Region 9, yes. Just a reminder, Aqua Conference is at the end of the month. So if you have not talked to Tammy to get your reservations in or do whatever, you probably should do that. So I think everybody is attending, right?
Ooh.
Perfect, perfect. So looking forward to that at the end of the month.
So just a quick comment following up on that. I will not be able to go to Aqua this time. So the remainder of our board will be there, but I won't.
You'll be missed.
Director's comments. Anyone? Start at your end, Director Denstedt.
Thank you. I attended the water leaders water briefing, the community leaders water briefing, and it was such a well-attended event, and so many people talked to me about how nice that was, and they'd love to see that year after year. So I will definitely make that comment to Metropolitan, who assisted also in the putting together of that with us. So.
Not to steal your thunder, but we did not know this, but Michael Hadley learned this as he was helping to plan this because we were approached by the legislators to run the event. It's a Met event.
It's a Met event.
They have done this historically. They just haven't done it since, 4 of you were on the board, and I've been here at Western. So it was a learning experience for all of us. But I thought it was a really good event.
No,
we'll continue to work on
And
that.
the learning curve on that was in talking with the chair, Adan Ortega, the following Monday, he found out that they actually have a budget. They have a budget in place to run this event, and it's for Met. It's for all of Met's region, so it's not just here. So they'll be doing that event and working on that in other locations to bring in other leaders.
They did. Michael Hadley did a fabulous job. Michael's not here. Someone will pass that on to him. But it was a challenge to work with so many different agencies, and he really did a great job. And tried to figure out. Met owned the event, but he still was doing a lot of work for their event. But it was good, and we'll look for an opportunity to bring that back.
For sure, no, and like I said, it was really well attended, and I had a lot of comments after the fact, and people that said, "Hey, this is really great," and having the conversation with the Don afterwards, the following Monday when I went up to the ABAC event. That was, it's really good to know, and I told him, please let me know, and I'm happy to be a part of those around the region. So, because Met covers 6 counties, so that it'll be widespread. And then I was so honored to be able to attend the Flyers Wall ceremony at the Mission Inn. Several of us were there, and to be a part of such a historic event. It honored Colonel Eileen Collins, who was the first female commander of the space shuttle, and she's been into space 4 times. And for someone like that who broke through barriers, especially in the military, and especially to command such a prominent thing, it was such an honor to meet her, and such a privilege to be able to talk to her and take a picture with her and listen to her shared experiences and all of the barriers and things that she had a challenge for in moving forward. So I was just honored to be asked to attend that event and feel like I got a glimpse of a piece of history that not many of us do. And so I just wanted to thank whoever put that event on. I think the Chamber and I think.
Chamber and the
and-
Historic Michigan Corporation.
Yes, so that was just wonderful. And then I had an opportunity to see her at the dinner over at the March Air Base as well, at the museum. So fabulous, fabulous event. And those are my comments. Thank you.
Director Rizvi.
The same. I attended the Water Leaders Conference. I am so glad I found out. I had no idea. And I found out last minute, but I was able to attend, and it was very informative. And it was a great, represented and very good event. And then, again, the Flyers Wall event. Eileen Collins was such an inspirational woman. I'm like, when she talked about, breaking that glass ceiling and it was remarkable. So I was glad I was able to attend both these events. Thank you.
Okay, Director Torres.
Yes. I'm sad I didn't get to attend the Community Leaders event. I actually had a graduation for IU Works, graduated their third cohort of pre-apprentices, which is great. I mean, it looks like the apprenticeship program will be starting soon, and so as we talk about workforce and expanding, IU Works is just spearheading that here in the Inland Empire. And then as well as with that, there was a strategic meeting for IU Works. There will be more state and federal grant funding coming through and how we're going to expand on our mission and vision with IU Works. And so attended both those events, and we're just happy to see, the investment coming into our community for workforce development, specifically in water. And that's it.
Okay, Director Roden.
Oops. I was able to attend the Norco State of the City on the 19th, and it was held in their new barn, which that word does not do justice to the facility. It is beautiful. It's huge, and I think this was just their second event that they had there. So they, as part of their State of the City, they had their farmers market, which I think normally is at a different location, but that evening it was there. And they had some really awesome displays around the room of old pictures of Norco. This was their, I think it was like year 100 as a town, not necessarily as an incorporated city, but their mayor, Robin, just did a wonderful presentation. They had kind of an interactive game that you could play, answering different questions on your phone during the program. And she actually wrote in, Kevin Bash got up and pretended he was getting a call from her that she was running late and her truck wouldn't start. And so she rode on the back of a open wagon pulled by horses. And it was very befitting of Norco. Just a wonderful event all the way around. And if any of you, I didn't write this down, but if any of you remember Kathy Acevedo, just amazing human being, past council member. This Sunday at 10 a.m., they are dedicating the new, I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's like the Kathy Acevedo. They're going to be honoring special citizens in the city, like annually. And so the dedication for that facility is this Sunday at 10. I will definitely be there for that. I was able to attend the Community Leaders Water Summit, and first of all, I was just so happy with how the event turned out and our role in it, and Senator Roth and Assemblymember Cervantes' role in it as well. And I actually think that in just observing, not only did the people in the room learn, I think the legislators learned and got a feel for what the constituents are experiencing and what the agencies are experiencing. And Craig did a wonderful job moderating that panel of the two legislators, and I thought it was so well done because they were not put on the spot, but they were able to definitely contribute to the conversation. And then even you could just tell there were new thoughts that they were thinking in regard to water and the need for more storage and conveyance and all those kinds of things. So it was just a win-win-win, I thought. And I think that it set a high bar for Met, because it was, even though I know it was confusing with the different agencies, it was well done, well attended, and I left people, I think, wanting to know more. And so when they do repeat this in other areas, which I definitely think they should, it'll be very worthwhile. When it very first started, the event was kind of started out in the legislators' offices, and then it grew, and then when we all found out about Met having an actual budget and that they used to do these things, the synergy was just there. So glad to be able to be a part of that. And I was able to attend the Flyers Wall as well at the Mission Inn. If you've never been there and seen that wall, there's so much to see at the Mission Inn. They do docent-led tours, but the wall is pretty impressive. And I went straight from the event to the gift shop, because of course I like to shop, but I bought the book that they gave to her because my sister-in-law is a active duty reserve stationed at March, and she flies the big refueling jets where they refuel in midair. To look at her, you would be like, really? It just blows my mind when I think about it. But got her a Christmas present, so yeah, they highly recommended that book. So I thought, and I ordered the book that Collins, yes, thank you, wrote.
Yes,
So, yeah, I ordered that as well. But it was another really awesome event. So it is so rewarding to be able to be part of so many of these different things that happen throughout our region, and to represent not just water, but to represent community and bringing us together and common goals and things like that. So I consider myself very blessed to be able to do that.
Great. I also attended the Flyers Wall ceremony, and a story that Colonel Collins told, her parents were definitely not wealthy. She mentioned that she didn't get cheeseburgers because the cheese was an extra nickel. And apparently her dad ran a pub. But she became interested in flying as a young teenager. And when she turned 16 and was able to start working, she started saving her money. And when she was 20, she'd saved up $1,000 and went off to the local airport and said, I want to take flying lessons. And they taught her to fly. And then she went to college on ROTC, and her ROTC instructor was involved with Air Force flight schools, and they had just opened a flight school to train women to fly, Air Force aircraft. And he said, would you want to go to flight school? And she said, sir, yes, sir. And that was her story. That's how she did it. But not only did she do all the firsts, but she worked really, really hard to get there as a young person to learn to fly. So, very impressive lady. Brings us to requests for future agenda items. Director Torres?
Just the same as requested last time.
Okay. Director Roten? Director Dennstead? Director Risby?
I'm good, thank you.
I would ask if we could get a presentation on AVAC at some point, whether committee or the full board. I'll leave that to staff. But it's a big, important project. It's a kind of a first new step toward more storage in the state. It's not a state project, it's a Met project, but it was dedicated just a few days ago, and it's a big deal, and it may be of benefit directly to Western.
And I attended that event, so
Yes.
I'm happy at my next Met update to be able to do that. I might be able to squeeze a slide or something out from that. But I'm happy to do that and talk about the project, the costs, and the benefits.
Great. I think the board would appreciate it, and any members of the public who happen to be watching. It's an exciting project. Okay, we have one informational item in the packet. We've done the closed session. Our next meeting is Wednesday, November 15th, here in this room at 9:30 in the morning. And with that, we will be adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Recording stopped.